Floridians have a clear choice. Charlie Crist, as usual, you don't know where he stands. You don't know how long he's going to fight. You don't know how far he's going to run or walk on behalf of Floridians. And as I pointed out with Senate Bill 6, as it was pointed out with the bill that he pointed out himself when it came down to the sonogram bill, all of that came about when he wanted to make his transition to become an independent. So in the Charlie Crist world, it has to work for him and the people of the state of Florida at the same time. If it doesn't work for him, they can't count on leadership. And I think this was a very profound debate. And walking in the room, being asked the first question if I'm going to be in or out of this race is an amazing question. Because if anyone understands what kind of fighter I am, they know that I'm going to be in this race to November the 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time when the last poll closed. I'm going to give Floridians a clear choice to vote for a fighter. And I think that that's what this race is about. Who will fight on behalf of Floridians? Charlie Crist is fighting on behalf of Charlie Crist. Marco Rubio is fighting on behalf of the conservative right in this country, an ideology that he's willing to step over the needs of this state in a recession. He's willing to stand. Floridians will have an opportunity to stand with me. And I'm encouraging every Floridian, not only throughout the weekend, but as through the early voting period that starts on Monday, for their vote. And I think it's very, very important that everyone understands that this race is about who will stand for Floridians. The major issues that are facing this state, Social Security. I'm the only one that can say that I've protected Social Security and will protect Social Security without my right eye twitching. Because Marco Rubio and Charlie Crist were both in on a deal to privatize Social Security. I'm the only one against offshore oil drilling in this state without stuttering. Both of them were on the stage clapping on Sarah Palin and John McCain and anyone else and any other lobbyists that said that we needed to stand against offshore oil drilling. They can't say it. They can't go there. I can. So when you look at how we're going to create jobs in Florida, and the two of them start talking about how they're going to fight for jobs in the state of Florida, their track record doesn't speak to it, and what they're saying now doesn't speak to it. And so I think it's important that Floridians take a very close look at this race, and I'm so glad that we have more debates to come, because I believe that the voter, when it comes down to it in the final analysis, will take a look in the mirror and say, who can I trust, who can I vote for, and know that that person will stand for me. There's a clear choice. It's between myself and Marco Rubio. It's Charlie Crist, you don't know where he stands.
Congressman, it's very difficult to imagine that all the polls we've seen that show you in a fairly distant third place are completely wrong and off base. Could you tell us which voters are going to switch their positions from either Rubio or Crist to you that will allow you to move not just into second, but then also further into first?
I think you're going to find the most likely voter would be the Democratic voter, the independent voter. We're leading in Democrats. The governor is not leading in any of the three categories of Republicans, Independents, or Democrats. I think it's also important to note that there's still more to be learned about Marco Rubio and his extreme stance. I think it's also important to note that in the primary election, I was 10 points down 3 weeks out. There was a poll released, not by your paper, by two major papers in the state, to say that I was 3 points behind. The Saturday before Election Day, I won by 26 points. My faith drives me to believe that the people of the state of Florida will do the right thing and the people of goodwill. So, you know, this race is not about me. If it was about me, then it would be a totally different tone. This is about the people of the state, and I really believe it. And let me tell you, every morning I wake up and I set out and I shake the first hand, or I make the first speech, or I go in a parking lot and talk to someone in Publix to talk about me being their United States Senator. I believe it, and they believe it. And they should not be denied the right to vote. And let me tell you, I don't think my voters will vote for Charlie Crist. I don't think my voters will vote for Marco Rubio. Period, dot. And I think that those that are with Charlie Crist are with him for whatever reason they feel that they need to be with him, but it's not solid. When they look at me and they look at this, they look at the debate, and when I say that I'm going to fight Tea Party ideology, they know that I'm telling the truth and that I mean it. When Charlie Crist says it, it's like, well, I'm gonna fight some of it. I'm not gonna fight all of it. You know, you're either walking or you're running in this. You can't jog. And I think it's important that people are looking for individuals that are running, and I'm running. And I've always, you know, it's never been a downhill issue for me, Wendy, you know it. I've always been the individual that's fight, scratch. But you know something? If I'm struggling and Floridians are struggling, then we have something in common. And so I think that that will move the hearts and minds of voters in this state, either be Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, to vote for me. And it's a long time before November the 2nd in the political time clock. Yes, sir.
Congressman, to what extent are you experiencing pressure to withdraw? Is that something real, or is that something that's being whipped up by those of us in the news media?
Oh, let me tell you, there's been reports, and, you know, of course, the Charlie Crist press team, to be commended, because they've been consistent. First, it was Tom Gallagher that should get out of the race. Then it was Marco Rubio that should have gotten out of the race against Charlie Crist. Now it's me who should get out of the race against Charlie Crist. That's what they do.